Hi, let's talk about standing down employees. The term in Australia at least is not new. It's a term used when an employee can't do their job due to circumstances outside the employer's control, like equipment failure, industrial action or natural disaster. During a stand-down period, the employer doesn't pay the employee, but the employee is still employed and needs to accrue leave during that period. So how do you manage to not pay an employee but still have them accrue leave? I'll show you. First thing you need to do, create a new pay category. Go to the Payroll Settings tab. Pay categories in the list under Payroll Settings. Click on the Add button. Name your pay category. Super is not payable on time stood down. Delete that rate. We definitely want this pay category to accrue leave. That is its purpose. Hit save. Now that's done. As usual, there are several different ways to achieve the same end in payroll. I'll cover a couple of them here. Let's look at the full-time employees' leave allowances. This particular employee's leave allowances are not controlled by a leave allowance template. He's accruing a fairly standard 4 weeks per year based on a 38-hour week, currently accruing at an hours per hour worked basis. We can choose to change this to hours per pay run by copying the amount we know should accrue per pay run, paste it in here, change the method from hours per hour worked to hours per pay run, apply. This is now changed. Scroll down. We don't need to do anything with family and domestic violence leave. Long service leave will need fixing. That's accruing on an hours per hour worked basis as well. Change the accrual rate and the accrual method to hours per pay run. Hit apply. We don't need to deal with any of these other leave types. Personal carers leave will still behave. It's accruing 10 days per year. Now, regardless, with the new leave type, hit save. Of course, if you've got multiple employees on being paid the same number of hours per week, you would use a leave allowance template to do this rather than have to go to each employee's leave allowances page, but I'll cover that shortly. Now the leave allowances have been updated. Go to the pay run defaults page for this employee. He's not using timesheets. He's paid these earnings by default in a pay run, 38 hours a week. If we untick this box, scroll to the bottom of the page and hit save, this employee will show up in each weekly pay run with no earnings but accruing a set amount of leave, what he would normally accrue in a week, per pay run. If he was using timesheets, then nothing is required on this page. He's not going to submit timesheets, but he will still accrue leave on a per pay run basis. Okay, we don't want to do this on a per employee record basis. We have too many employees. We want to use leave allowance templates to make this easier. You'll still have unticked the pay these earnings by default in the pay run box on any employee's record, pay run defaults page, to ensure they're not paid. Then we're going to go to the leave allowances page, back to the dashboard, payroll settings. Leave allowance templates are under the pay conditions heading. These are the leave allowance templates that are already in this payroll account. They're stock standard leave allowance templates. I'm not going to use one of these because I figure I will want to unapply these settings once the employee comes back from the stand down period. So For permanent employees who would normally be using this leave allowance template, if I was using them, you can clone a leave allowance template now. Use this little icon. Shows up at the bottom of the page. Rename the template so it's clear what it is. Scroll down and do the same thing that we just did on that employee's leave allowances page. Use the little calculator, pick up the hours per weekly pay run figure, paste it, and change the method to hours per pay run. Apply. Do the same thing for long service leave. We know that these are the only two leave categories in this payroll account that will need adjusting. Hit save. Now the leave allowance template has been created. We can go to any full-time employee who's working 38 hours a week as a default. As per this employee, not using timesheets, paid earnings by default. Apply the new leave allowance template we've just created. Scroll down and hit save. Now if we go to her leave allowances page, the template is in place and she's set to accrue hours per pay run, this many hours, which will still result in 4 weeks leave. In this case, we will want to untick this option, the same way as we did for the other employee, not using timesheets. If you're using leave allowance templates, that's all you need to do. Create the template, apply it, untick the pay these earnings by default in a pay run box if it is ticked. Remember, only do it for employees who have the same standard hours per week. If you have a group of employees working 38 hours, create a leave allowance template for them. If you have another group of employees that work 40 hours a week or 20 hours a week, create separate leave allowance templates. Okay. You don't want to do it using leave allowance templates. You don't wish to fiddle with your leave allowances, your employees' leave allowances in that way. That's fine. There's another way. It depends on whether the employee is using timesheets or not, again. So let's deal first with an employee who is not using timesheets. This is a full-time employee working a standard 38 hours a week and being paid that amount of hours by default in a pay run. Untick this box. We don't want her to accrue to be paid 38 hours a week. Go to her pay rates page. Scroll down. Find the stand down pay category we just created. Remember, there is no hourly rate for this, but we want her to have an earnings line in each pay run for 38 hours for this pay category. We've set it up to accrue leave. This box here is the show in pay run box. So I'm setting her up now, rather than being paid her default 38 hours per week, her pay run record will have one earnings line in it with $0 value, 38 hours, and she will accrue leave based on that with no earnings. Hit save. For employees who are using timesheets, we're going to create a work type for them to use. They'll continue to submit timesheets through the stand down period. Go to the payroll settings tab. Work types in the list under pay conditions. Stock standard work types here. We're going to add a new one. It's called stand down. It's going to point at the stand down pay category. We can at this point automatically enable this work type for all casual employees if we wish, or you can do it on a per employee basis. I won't do this now, I'll show you how to do it on the employee's record. Hit save. There's not much to this work type. It's simply pointing to the stand down pay category. So we've created the work type. Go to an employee who uses timesheets. Go to their work types page. Give them permission to use the stand down work type. Hit save. Don't forget you'll need to advise these employees that they still need to continue to submit timesheets and choose the stand down work type. You will approve the timesheets as usual. Then when you import them into the pay run, each of the earnings lines created by the timesheets that are imported will be zero value, but leave will accrue. And that's it. We've put together an article that shows you how to do all of this. There's a lot of detail in the article. I think you'll find it helpful. To access the article, go to our knowledge base by clicking on the question mark. Just search for it. It's easy to find, managing the stand down of employees in the pay run. What I've just talked about is all covered here in great detail. There are, of course, also articles showing you if you need help with creating a pay category, creating a leave allowance template, or creating a work type. I hope this has helped. Bye for now.